Wizards better without John Wall? I don't think so, but let's talk about it.
All right, trash talkers. It's actually been a minute. We haven't put out a video since the new year, so happy New Year, brother.
Happy New Year, man.
All
Prosperity.
Right. Prosperity and a lot of good cheer and joy coming forward in this new year. So we're going to start off. We're going to have another Wizard report. A lot's been happening since we last talked, right? So, unfortunately, John went down.
Yep. Just like Frazier.
Yeah, well, we might have to have Frazier get back on the canvas.
Yeah. Up comes Frazier.
Because we definitely need him now since we're down to 2 point guards. But let's talk about how the Wizards been doing since John has been gone. Actually, surprisingly, they've been like 5-2 or 6-2
right
since he's been down. And there has been a little bit of controversy with that. A lot of players have been doing some little snickering behind his back and stuff, and I'm not sure what all that's about.
Right.
But we'll get into it. So my first question of the year is, why have the Wizards been doing actually better without him during this short stretch? I mean, we're not stupid enough to say that they're better team without John, but why have just in this little bit of stretch have they been doing better, you think?
Well, for one, the Wizards unfortunately always played better when their backs against the wall. Mm-hmm. So I think they were frightened, scared to death that, hey, if John goes down, we might not even make the playoffs this year. So everybody raised their game a little bit, which I don't understand why they can't keep that game elevated while they are, when they, we talked about it last year. Every time they play against a lesser opponent, they play down to the opponent. When they play a good opponent, they play up. Same thing. Mm-hmm. With John Wall out, I think everybody's like, okay, now I've got to play my complete game, and they're delivering. So it's frustrating as a fan to watch and see them, guys can do a little bit more than they have been doing. Mm-hmm. And, some of the guys are coming through a little bit. I think Morris is playing a little better. Get a little bit more consistent. Obviously, Otto's responded a little bit.
Otto's been playing really well.
Yeah, and Oubre is always kind of consistently on a steady rise. Mm-hmm. So, and Bradley's embraced the whole concept of, hey, it's my team now. So
right.
I'll put them on my back and we'll go. So it's interesting. Not so much what they're doing now, what will they do when John comes back? Hopefully he comes back this year.
Well, let's talk about a little bit of the different styles of the two teams. First team with John on the court, second when he's injured and off the court. To me, what I've seen is those guys have actually, they look a little bit looser. And I'm not sure why, because John, has the ball 90% or 80% of the time. Do they get a chance to feel the basketball and get into a little bit more of their personal rhythm when he's not in there? Because I think a lot of times when John feeds them, they have to make a decision whether they're going to shoot right away or, pass it to the next guy.
Right.
So they just, to me, they seem a little bit more loose and comfortable. And again, I'm not sure why.
Well, this is my take on it. John is a unique talent, but he doesn't play the same way every game. Mm-hmm. So when you don't have John, these guys are running to their spots, they're running the offense, they're doing things probably more predictable.
Right.
John is the type of talent where he can, speed up the tempo, or he can slow the tempo down, or he can do this. And I don't think they really know what he's going to bring to the game. Which John is coming to the game tonight.
Maybe it's which car he pulls up in.
Yeah.
If he's in his Porsche,
he's
going to play fast.
Yeah, a guy comes up in a minivan and hey, look, how many cup holders do you have?
Exactly. Yeah.
So I don't know. It's interesting because he definitely sets the pace. And when he's aggressive and he's out front, he's pushing the ball, that's one thing. But when he's kind of like dribbling, milking the clock, kind of fooling around with the ball for like the first 12 seconds of the 24-second clock, it's just different. But I still think it goes back to they know we can't. We got to play defense a little bit better.
Right.
we have to be on top of this thing, or the
Right.
games will get away from us. We don't
Right.
have that capacity to make one of these big runs that the Wizards are famous for.
Right. Yeah. John has it's crazy. He has a philosophy, I think. He doesn't try to do too much in the first quarter.
Right.
Tries to get everybody involved, and then as the game goes on, he takes it over more and more and more. You know, that would work with some teams. I'm not sure that's a good philosophy for the Wizards.
No.
Because it's almost like LeBron in Cleveland. If LeBron comes out with a lot of energy, then that team will play well.
Right.
If John, like you said, if he's just kind of in that slower pace, I think the team will take on that identity for that game.
Right.
And the Wizards need to come out hard.
Right.
You know, they need to come out with a lot of swag because that's a team that loses swag very easily.
Right.
So I'm thinking, John, come out, speed it up, and, maybe pass it off a little earlier than you would normally. Let those guys get into their own personal rhythm and not necessarily be the guy, I have to feed you the ball, get you the assist for you to score.
Right.
I think that's kind of how they play when he's healthy. And maybe that's not the best way.
Right.
Even though he might get 14, 15 assists, I just see too many bad games from the Morrises and the Porters and things like that.
Yeah, we were talking about it earlier today. We were talking about how well people play off of each other.
Mm-hmm.
And it's key. Like, that playing off, anticipating where everybody's going to be. And you saw it with, I think you saw it with Ariza.
Right.
Like, maybe, 2-3 years ago?
Yeah.
Ariza really played well off of John.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of understood. He just went to spots on the floor.
Right.
And he played well off. Bill is unique, and he's more than just a spot up shooter.
Right. He doesn't necessarily want that all the time.
He doesn't want to be a spot up shooter.
Right.
Well, he just runs to the spot and waits on John.
Right.
He can create.
Now
on
he
his
can
own.
do it.
Right.
But I think his most effective when he's a guy who maybe hangs on to his dribble longer than a spot up shooter would.
Right. He's going
just to get in a rhythm.
Right, and he wants to be able to create something.
And create.
He can
That's
create.
the word I was looking for. Yeah.
Now Porter has found his niche on the Wizards by going to spots, spotting up. The problem with that is that the Wizards aren't deep enough to have a player of Porter's talent just spotting up.
Right.
They
didn't pay him max contract. for
no,
him
just to
be
to run to a spot
Right.
and be a situational shooter.
Right.
He's just we can't have that,
Right.
and so he has to be able to be working into creating, actively getting his own shots, so that you keep a certain momentum throughout the game.
Right.
You don't have those flat stretches where, like, if John's off his game a little bit, then you see the Wizards just go flat.
Right.
Everything's flat. Everybody's looking. The ball's bouncing out of bounds.
Right.
And so I think that's a big issue with them, that they don't have enough playmakers where, like, you can have somebody do that. And like Morris, he wants to be. It's like he kind of transitioned to this player where he's running to spots, he's running to the corners.
He's not going to be that.
Yeah, he's like, no, that's not.
I mean, he'll hit a 3 once in a while. He's not a great stretch 4.
Right.
No, that's not his strength.
Right. So you see him, when I see him start running to the corner, I'm like, dude, you need to run to the hoop, man.
Right. And I think he's better. I mean, he likes to get it, in the painted area and back down. I think he's better at that.
Right.
Than spotting up.
Just spotting up and just trying to go, and it takes some of the aggressiveness. I think he's a pretty aggressive player.
Right.
And the more aggressive he is, if he can control his fouls,
Right.
the more effective he is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think when he's aggressive, actually Gortat becomes a little bit more aggressive
Right.
too. But when they both are just they're doing their thing, like
Morris is out trying to hit threes.
Gortat's just
Gortat's
waiting.
just
He's just
tapping
waiting on
and just tapping rebounds out.
tapping rebounds or waiting to be spoon fed by John Wall.
But it's so funny. Okay, so let's get into a little bit of the controversy that, some of the players were tweeting several things. One of which Gortat had a tweet about, I guess they had a win or two, and he says it's a great team win, and he put team in capital letters.
Yeah.
And at least the media thought it was a little bit of a swipe at John.
Yeah. Oh, I think it was intended to be.
You do or do not?
I do.
Oh, you do?
I do think it's a little.
I didn't, but I've been persuaded because of the how much the media has said it's bad.
Right.
And then I saw an interview with John, and it sounds like he took it as a swipe.
Right.
So why do you think Gortat would do that? Because he seems like he'd be the guy in John's corner the most.
Right. He's
I think
benefactor.
you made that comment that he should put John's tombstone, which is actually funny.
Oh man.
So I guess he's not going to be on the tombstone.
I guess he's not going to make the tombstone.
But why would he? I don't get it. I just don't get where he's coming from.
I if he is, and I agree, that's just not enough information to say that he's taking a shot at John because he says, team win.
Yeah.
But I do think he is because those guys know each other.
Right.
And if John felt that it was a little backdoor slap or whatever it was, I think it probably was intended that. But it goes back to the style of play. John dictates everything for that offense. So everybody feels like they have to get more involved in doing what they do when John's out on the floor, which is unfortunate because a lot of times I see Gortat standing back.
Yeah.
He's just standing back. So if John's out on the floor, then he feels like, okay, now I got to get more. No, dude, you got to get in. You got to be even more engaged because if you are open, John will get you the ball. Of all the people,
Right.
John Wall will get Gortat the ball. So why are you looking at it like it's his fault?
But the thing is, Gortat, he's one of the few players who have done offensively nothing.
Right. No, he can't do anything without
Yeah,
John Wall.
and it's like, dude.
You gonna wait for Frazier to get it?
Actually, Frazier did have 15 assists one game.
Yeah,
So he got off the map, but you're still not really.
Yeah, I leave Frazier alone.
Yeah.
We need Frazier.
We need Frazier right now.
Yeah.
But as long as he doesn't drive to the hole and get a shot blocked every time. So that was kind of weird, and I think I was happy that Beal tried to squash it. He said, "Look, you guys are trying to find, especially the media. He said you guys are making up stuff and reaching for stuff. I think was his exact term. So I'm glad because it's just that team does not need controversy.
No.
They need everybody because it's hard for those guys to get wins.
Yeah, and they don't necessarily handle controversy well.
No, they don't.
Yeah, some teams controversy motivates,
Right.
but for them controversy kind of pulls them apart.
Because they're so fragile. The swag I was talking about. That team is so fragile, man.
Yeah.
Even if stuff's not going well in the games, a player might go down. Somebody might say something to the media.
Right.
They just are so quick to get in a funk.
Right.
You just don't need anything.
Right.
So I'm hoping after about 3 or 4 weeks when John gets back, he's going to come in and do his thing. Now, I guess I asked you this question earlier. Does he need to change anything? Maybe from your comments, does he have to become more consistent in tempo?
I think he needs to. I think he has to. I think he's done a lot. Let me kind of break it down this way. When he first came out, John was just going north, south, going to the basket, flying out of bounds, throwing the ball, but going 100 miles an hour.
Right.
Now he's changed speeds. He'll pull up and shoot a 10, 15 footer. He might do this. He might do that. Incredible. That's a lot. That's a big improvement. So I can't say that when I say tempo, he's got to understand, and which I think he's learning.
Right.
How to dictate the tempo at the appropriate times that make the Wizards function best. So sometimes he's playing a lot of minutes, so he doesn't need to just be going 100 miles an hour.
And actually, the
Wizards
don't rebound well enough
Nah.
for them to run as much as I'd like them to run. And I was kind of disappointed they really didn't make a trade during that time that they needed to get a DeAndre Jordan to get Drummond type.
Right.
Somebody that can get 14, 15 rebounds a night and get that outlet pass out there.
I'm just not convinced that this is what my concern is so far as that is. I'm not convinced that if you look around, you should be able to find that guy. You know, you're not asking him to have a lot of offensive skill.
You would think.
All you're asking him to do is rebound, interior defense, and run.
You told me there's nobody in the G League. The most athletic big in the G League can't do that.
Can't rebound, defend,
Right.
and run. If you could find a big man who can consistently rebound, defend the paint, and
The rim
run,
protector, yeah.
yeah. I mean, DeAndre Jordan. I mean, that's kind of.
Although you have to pay him $20 million a year, man.
Well, you know, if he makes for a winning team,
Yeah.
he's worth it.
Right.
But I'm tired of these guys who are all around pretty good players.
Morris. You're describing Morris.
Right. All
Why
around,
can't he get 12 rebounds
Right.
a game?
all around pretty talented, pretty good at this. But when it comes down to it, when you need a big rebound, you need a block, you need somebody to do this. You know, it's like, okay, yeah, you're pretty good, but you didn't get that rebound.
Right.
And the same thing goes for Gortat.
Right.
You know, good, solid big man. You know, you need him. There's no question.
Yeah,
The
people get on Gortat, but the Wizards need Gortat.
The Wizards couldn't. I mean, we've watched the Wizards when they don't have a quality big man,
Right.
and how they got pushed around. Gortat doesn't get pushed around.
Right.
He's a presence. He's he's there. He does provide that option for John on the pick and roll. He does
Right.
it well. Has great hands.
Right.
But just Gortat sees the moment. You know,
Yeah.
like dude, like
he
when there's 2 minutes left in the game.
He's never gotten a big rebound.
No, when there's 2
Never.
minutes left in the game, you need to get the rebound.
Right.
Yeah, you need to get that defensive rebound, and every now and then you got to steal one. You got to get an offensive rebound. Everybody's
Take it
paying-
from somebody.
Take
yeah.
it from somebody. Everybody's keying in on John
Right.
and Bill. You should be just like crashing. It's like, okay,
Right.
if they miss, I'm there. But you can't stand and wait and see. Okay, well, he didn't pass him the ball when he drove, so I'm
Right.
just gonna watch to see if he makes the layup.
There's plenty of bigs that will sneak in. I
Yeah.
think Drummond gets 20 rebounds in a game.
I mean,
He never gets fed. I mean, I watched Detroit for
right.
a long time.
The guys just crashing.
Yeah, he's just crashing
Yeah,
the boards,
it's
man.
like just
And they'll have like 22 rebounds. It's like, how's somebody getting 22 rebounds?
right.
They're trying to get every rebound.
Right.
And he's not tipping it out if he.
no, he's not trying to play volleyball.
Right.
He's not.
Right.
It's like
So,
both hands on the ball.
both
get the
hands on
rebound.
the ball. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the toughest guy in there.
Right. Right.
So that's how he makes it. So, so again, I can't wait till John gets back, and hopefully they'll stay on this
So what's your
good playing streak, not a winning streak, but good playing streak.
So what do you think's going to happen when he comes back?
It's a little bit of a mystery, but what I want John to do is, while he's sitting, look at what's happening out there, and look at what players like to do. I'm not talking about you feeding them and they're in a position for a layup or something, but what does Porter like to do? Because actually Porter's been more aggressive, and maybe encourage those guys to continue doing what they have been doing, and John just being, that final piece to make that team really good.
Right. Right.
I think the team knows that John's the best player on that team. He's the superstar, and a lot of times players watch superstars
Right.
instead of contributing.
Right.
So I think they'll be better. I think down the stretch when everybody's healthy, because first of all, the bench has been playing more, and the bench is getting more confident. We haven't talked about Satoransky.
Yeah, Satoransky stepped up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a monster game before one of play. I forgot who they played last. Tried to,
got hydroplane.
hydroplane him and try to end his season.
Yeah, helicopter.
I really didn't appreciate that. But,
Helicopter, hydroplane,
yeah, but he's a tough dude.
clothesline. I think
He came up bloody, but he's a tough dude.
So
he's playing better. Frazier, you said down goes Frazier, but Frazier got back up wobbly and took an 8 count, and now he's contributing again. And some of the other guys, I think everybody's kind of found their role on that team.
Right.
And when John gets back, Frazier's probably going to go back to very limited minutes, but I think everybody else on that bench is going to be playing and playing better than they were.
Yeah. I think so. I just
Mike Scott, he cooled off, but he's still a contributing factor.
Yeah,
Nobody thought he would continue shooting 65-70%.
right.
From all over the court. And
Right.
everything.
He's Mike Scott.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's a good player.
He's a good player off the bench. Yeah.
Yeah. But he's not gonna continue that. He's not.
Right.
Mike Scott is not an all-star.
Right.
But he's a good player.
He's proven he's a good player.
Yeah. So we can use him. Something though, it's like I think they'll do well, but the problem that we have is.
For the answer, please check out the next Wiz Report. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Trash Talkers Vlog, baby.